Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day of action. Aren't you coming to us? Wow, my shirt is looking freaking crazy on the screen. Maybe I wore the wrong. Yeah.
What is this?
This is. Anyway, welcome to another
Asian
broadcast.
sensation Luminous.
Beyond the Summit, of course, it's already crashing down. I am Luminous, joined by Merlini Ben Wu, as we're casting today. It's going to be the RedBull Esports Championship League 2013. Got to make sure we get every ECL 2013. This is we're in the kind of the finishing stages of the tournament. It's going to be a single elimination bracket, all matches best of 3. And these are the 8 teams that are going to be featuring today. So we have IG versus RisingStars starting right now. Coming up next, we have Orange versus Rattlesnake, LG China versus Tongfu, and Vichy Gaming versus DK. So a lot of these teams are very household familiar names. And of course, Ben, how are you doing today?
Hello. How's it going, Lumi?
I'm doing good.
We haven't cast together in a while. It's been a few days.
I do want to point out that right now BTS is in shambles.
I know.
LD is sick, so he's not going to be hassling too much today. Kawa has pieced.
He's gone.
Evo.
He's in Vegas. He's gambling his life away.
I wish I was in Vegas. If you could see the TV, it's not working.
Rares weren't enough for Kawa.
AC isn't working, so we're drenched. I'm not sure why I'm in such temperature keeping hot
You just want an
shirt.
excuse to roll up your sleeves and show off your guns.
I need to get a second
The AC
collar.
is broken.
Yeah, it is freaking hot. Some of our lights are maybe not working. I don't know. Maybe they'll flicker out, but yeah, a standard day here at BTS.
Well, let's get with the game.
All right, let's get into the game. Nothing is actually working. All right, so Invictus Gaming versus RisingStars. That's going to be a first best of 3 for the ECL 2000. Of course, this is single elimination, so loser goes home, winner moves on. Invictus Gaming on the Radiant side for this game, RisingStars on the Dire. Some of the draft is already along the way here. Anything particular that you, as you can see, that LD is just not familiar with the setup and everything's going haywire.
Blame LD.
Yeah.
Fire LD.
Fire LD. Let's see some of those hashtag going on. But what is coming out for this particular draft for you?
Well,
Ben?
first off, they banned Wisp against RisingStars.
RisingStars.
That's very strange to me, just because I don't think they banned it out in any teams banned it out in the Eastern qualifiers. And
well, RisingStars is actually one of the few Chinese teams that actually used Wisp before everybody started picking up.
Okay.
I'm not sure how good they are. I don't think they're good at all with the Wisp, but maybe they're just kind of respecting the hero after the beatdowns they have received from Navi on the Alien World Cup a couple
And
days back.
OD, first banned out in the first ban stage. That's pretty ridiculous. This hero used to be just like nowhere on the map. Used in very pocket strat, sometimes used as a somewhat of a soft counter versus Wisp. You would just disrupt the CK, try and kill the Wisp, and it would sometimes work. But other than that, I mean, he's decent. He dominates the mid lane for the most part. Scales very well with items, but very item dependent hero. Fairly easy to gank, and sometimes relies way too much on the support of his team to try and thrive in an actual competitive game. Most notably, Treant Protector.
Yeah, like you said, OD really kind of came on after Treant received all the attention. Maybe particularly because in the new map, after heroes knock down or your teammates knock down towers, you receive more gold. As a result, maybe you get a tiny bit of boost, particularly because OD doesn't actually.
I see you're very familiar with this.
I am very, very familiar with this. I've learned the hard way. But let's actually look at the heroes that are selected here. Visage, Darkseer, Nyx Assassin, now Templar Assassin being selected for Invictus Gaming. I figure that their lineup is really good at every stage of the game, particularly if they finish the draft with a Spectre, which they cannot because Spectre is being banned out on the other side. Darkseer plus Spectre is a very, very good kind of all-round lineup.
There's still Gyrocopter. I think Gyrocopter would work well into that strategy. Oh, nope, banned out by RisingStars. Well,
and speaking of RisingStars, they're going to pick up Lifestealer, Rubik, Dragonite, and Chen. So a very HP-oriented lineup here and a very defensive lineup. That could do a lot of tanking. Their damage is not lacking, especially coming from Lifestealer and Dragonite. But I feel like they need a little bit stronger mid because if it's going to be a Dragonite versus Templar Assassin matchup, which I assume it would be, Templar Assassin is going to have a very easy time dominating that lane.
Yeah, TA given free farm is never good for the other team. TA also pretty good versus Lifestealer. They don't have too many things to pop multiple refraction charges, except for Chen and maybe fantastic creep micro. But Dragonite, Rubik, Lifestealer not that great. Dragonite maybe with his ultimate form, but TA should be able to go to town if she gets sufficient farm.
You know what doesn't make any sense? You know how the second dragon form gets the corrosive damage? Why not the third? Why isn't the final Ice Form also get corrosive damage?
That's to come next patch.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like Treant Protector gets like 10 base damage buff, and then
Every
it's like
patch.
more strength, and then like it's coming. It's
Because
coming.
if you think about it, if the Elder Form also had the corrosive breath, that will work against Refraction. That will help you siege. I just don't know why you lose that.
Well, Dragonite's already like almost first tier pick, so maybe.
Apparently, I don't think he's actually first pick viable, but a lot.
I
of
don't think he's first pick viable either, but other teams
are proven, like both the East and West team. Navi has been using it quite a bit. Second pick for Dendy all the time. And of course, if you guys are not really aware what we're talking about, it's the Alienware Cup, which you could check out on alienwarecup.com. All the VODs are available. Really, really cool tournament. But right now, Invictus Gaming.
Ooh.
All right, so it is going to be a solo mid Queen of Pain art.
Yeah.
Are we going to see some sort of offensive trialing here featuring the Life Stealer Rubik and then Chen? And then you can put Dragonite solo top? 1v1.
I suppose so. It really depends on what Invictus Gaming does at the last hero. If it's a very passive hero, I say Spectre because he's the most obvious one, although he's banned out.
Yeah.
Then it's much easier to do a safe lane or an aggressive triple lane versus a weak fighter early. But if they had something, for example, like Alchemist, even though he's banned out, it'd be much harder to contest. And especially with Chen, usually gone in the lane, you only have 2 heroes. Rubik is just food most of the time, especially against a Visage. I don't think they'll do a Chen into opponent.
Wow.
Ooh, Necrolite.
Wow. All right, I'm completely excited about this game now.
He's good versus Dragon Knight.
He is
Although
actually,
a lot of heroes are good versus
he's
Dragon
actually
Knight.
pretty good against Lifestealer as well. He's great against actually a ton of these heroes. I actually have not seen Necrolite for ages. Necrolite, I feel like he's actually a fairly okay
pretty
hero.
strong.
I don't want to say he's completely viable, but I think he has some kind of niche strat. And I think against Dragonite, like you said, it's fine.
I think it works well against when like team fights don't go on for like 5 seconds. Usually it was just like RP, boom, everyone's dead, or
Right.
like Batrider initiate, boom, kill one person.
You mean
and then
longer
fight.
team fights.
Right. So the longer the team fights are, just because like Magnus and the likes, Batrider, Wisp, those heroes have been banned out. Team fights have been stretched longer, and that means that Heartstopper Aura is way more effective, especially against these big strength heroes on the side of RisingStars.
And actually, if you look at this entire IG lineup, which we'll quickly introduce, Zoe's going to be playing on Necrolite, Chuan's going to be handling the Visage, Faith is going to be on the support Next Assassin, solo mid, of course, is going to be 430 on the Ferrari, and last but not least, going to be YYF going top. This particular lineup for Invictus Gaming, every single one of these heroes wants that team fight to go longer, right? I mean, the more Soul Assumption you fire off, the more Trap you fire off, of course, more Iron Shell Vacuum you drop off, the better you do in team fight.
So we already see a defensive warding from IG, blocking of the spawn so that Chen won't be able to go in this area and wreck the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we have 5 heroes from RisingStars trying to go there, block the spawn. They actually place 2 wards over here. That's rather unusual. Sometimes my screen just went off.
Your screen just went off. LD is just killing the entire studio right now. We do see generally 2 wards being placed to block a single camp, but you generally don't see them placed in a single area where a single sentry could deward both. So let's see if Chuan's going to stiffen it out. Of course, let's quickly introduce the Dire as well. It's going to be Air playing Dragonite on the solo mid. So it's, despite being the Queen of Pain pickup, she's not going to have the solo mid position. Super's going to be playing the Chen. We have XTD playing the Rubik. And now it's going to be Xiao Tuji up on the top lane trying to deal with these illusions. That illusion would not block.
Where is Queen of Pain?
Yeah, where is that Queen of Pain? Queen of Pain is going to be handled by XTT. And is she jungling? My god, we see this tactic in pub games. And this is IG versus RisingStar to remember you guys. This can't be good. Like, this just cannot be good.
I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't pick a more traditional hero just because Queen of Pain.
Why not just
She's
Profit?
so strong early then.
Yeah, why not Profit if you want to do something like this?
I have no idea.
Why not Nigma?
I'm just confused. I mean, it's cool, kind of, but is it effective, useful? I would not say so.
It's cool because we don't see it that often, and we don't see it that often for a reason, right? This actually is really, really bad.
Well, I've seen Priestess of the Moon do it. I've seen Luna do it. Templar Assassin coming under a little bit of fire, but can you turn your game sounds up?
Can I turn my game sounds up?
Thanks. Okay. Anyways,
how can you play Dota without sound, but
I
you
know.
can cast? You can't cast without sound.
It's difficult. I don't know what's going on without any sounds.
But you when you stream, you play all these like wub 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 or whatever music you play.
I still have game sounds turned way up.
I see.
Can't play. Meanwhile, YYF on top lane in big trouble.
YYF. Open wins. He's running away. He does not have Surge just yet. By the way, new icon set here for Darkster. He's gonna pop himself. He had a ton of regen left. He should be absolutely fine, but he really needs to get his Soul Ring as soon as possible. This particular lane, pretty oppressive. It's gonna be somewhat hard to kill him, but maybe with XCT rolling around. Oh my goodness, YYF is just not expecting a Queen of Pain ganking out of jungle. It's gonna be a Shadow Strike, lift, toss him back, and we're gonna see Open Wounds. And still level 1. He's gonna give up first blood for sure here. Who's gonna pick it up here? It's gonna be Rubit that drops the first blood again. Queen of Pain ganking out of jungle. New meta, maybe.
I'm just surprised that he stuck around there for so long. There's no heroes on bottom lane, so that means 3 or most likely 3, at least 4 heroes, or at least 3 heroes are top. And without Surge at level 2,
I mean, this gank only worked because there's no Surge. So don't try this at home and be like, oh my god, they didn't pro game and it worked. It really doesn't work. I'm just
Necrolight's also pretty good at pushing towers early, which they are not doing on bottom just because they want some levels. I think that Necrolight is just absolutely atrocious before level 6, and level 7 is where he really starts to shine. Death Pulse is just an awful spell before that. We see a smoke from these 3 heroes. Looks like they want to put some pressure on Ferrari so that Eric can finally get some farm in the middle.
You know, Queen of Pain with Shadow Strike gank, it does actually remove all the refraction charges, provided he doesn't dodge it with Mel Strike. Of course, the Dark Troll Warlord would help with that. If you do net her, Mel does not put you into invisibility mode. Looks like they're trying to break all those stuns. XCD running right in, and he does have to lift. Blink forward here for the Shadow Strike, and XCD going into Invis. Central gets dropped, and she is so dead. And it don't matter if you're ganking with Queen of Pain if you get those kills. My goodness.
They are devoting a lot of heroes to each of these ganks. So we had 4 heroes on top to kill 1, 4 heroes on bottom, and the 3 other heroes on the side of IG should start rolling in their farm and their experience soon.
But these ganks are very effective. So and of course they're making gold because they're getting the first blood. They're now trying to put a little bit of pressure on this tower. Dark Troll Warlord summoning a little bit of minions as well. That this siege unit doing a ton of damage. I don't think you get this tower. I think you actually back off and start farming.
There's no way.
Yeah, but they got some nice damage on it. It's not too bad.
Got the deeps. Yeah. Darkseers, these new icons are throwing me off. You see them?
Yeah.
Dude, that's trippy.
I'm just using the positioning of their spell. Remember, XCD trying to get that double damage. Nice not here by Chuan. XCD is actually fighting against Chuan here. Or XTT,
dude,
not
roaming
XCD.
Queen of Pain.
Roaming Queen of Pain, my goodness. And you were saying that IG was not pushing on the bot lane. I think this is a fairly smart choice. If you push, it's very easy for Queen of Pain to rotate to the lane and get a ton of experience. Because she's not going to die to any kind of gank. Because she has Blink. So, and now, here comes a rotation of Queen of Pain. And she is going to pick up that EXP.
Death Pulse can't be disjointed though. So, if Queen of Pain decides to blink out, or if Zhao hits level 6, which she already is, she is in quite a bit of danger.
Oh, Zhao tanking in tower a little bit here. The cool thing about... By the way, he picked up Treads. I actually personally really like Treads on Necrolite because you could use Sadist in your... You could toggle Treads and use Sadist and just regenerate a ton more mana than you actually get.
Chuan trying his best to zone XTT out, but unable to do so because of the presence of the tower. That tower is very low on bottom though. 500 HP. There is still Glyph on Rising Stars, but relatively passive early game from IG. They're just trying to react slowly to the bush. They're not really counter ganking. They're not really playing aggressively. Just playing greedy in this early game. And I think it'll pay off for them. I think once they hit 6 on the Nyx Assassin, things will be a lot different, as well as 6 on the Visage.
Alright, so since we don't have too much action going on the map right now, not too many ganks as people have gone back to jungle, the Chen is farming up, and now we do see XCT rotating the bot lane in 1v1 position. So doing a very good job zoning XCT out lane. He knows that he's going to lose HP, but it doesn't really matter because he has Death Pulse. But my question to you, Ben, is what do you think Necrolite's going to go as an item? I don't think he needs to go for a mech because I imagine Darkseer eventually will pick one up, even though he's not farming too well. Generally, that's what Necrolite goes for. In this particular game where he has a ton of free gold, is he going for a Acceptor who got the upgrade recently, or do you think he's going to go for some other item, like maybe a early game Force Staff, maybe even a Yule Scepter?
I think that Force Staff is pretty good. It really depends on your team comp. They have a Surge to try and bail him out of danger, but Necrolite actually really needs mobility in a fight, although all you do is Death Pulse and run around. It's actually really important to be able to move around in fights. I would advocate for a Force Staff mech, maybe into a Sheep. Sheep is going to be really instrumental in bursting these really important to kill heroes down, most notably Queen of Pain and the Lifestealer. Orchid I've seen sometimes, but not in competitive.
I think they could have actually got a kill on the bot lane, but it looks like teleportation is coming right now with the Infest Bomb. They're going to focus on Zoe. We do see Faith coming out. If he pops the ultimate, maybe they could do something out of mana for the ultimate. Zoe's still very survivable. 4 tangos. There's a buyback here from the Queen of Pain. They do get that 1 kill even without the buyback.
If only he had Scepter there, man.
If he has Scepter.
Scepter, I think, is just a little bit underwhelming of an item on Necrolite. Yeah, he needs a lot of tankiness, but he also needs mitigation as well, just to make each death pulse more effective. So it doesn't really give you much in terms of mitigation, whereas Mech gives you a fair amount of armor. Pipe is decent for your team, although I'm not sure if he's going to need it, because I don't think Queen of Pain is going to be a big factor for them late game. And just more utility, I think, is usually the best build to go.
I completely agree. I'm going to quickly explain what Scepter does for those of you guys that are not really aware with the recent change blog. What Scepter allows you to do is when you get the kill, you basically prevent the enemy from buying back. Generally, that's really good when you have a 1 core, or the enemy has 1 core, like a solo anti-mage that's trying to carry, or a solo PL, because when you kill that particular carry, you know you win the team fight.
What is Faith doing?
Faith is...
He's scouting out for the chicken.
Yeah, he got... No. He was just hiding there. The chicken actually scouted him. But because IG's against a multi-core lineup, the Acceptor, the preventing the buyback clause, that doesn't mean too much. Faith is really in trouble now. XCT has found him. They're going to start duking out, but actually Monoburn comes out, and the Queen of Pain is going to be on the run. I think they're really trying to focus on carrying this regular tower, but Liv comes in right now. They're going to throw him back to tower range, and I have no idea why Faith is there.
Man, Rising
for such
Stars
a long
is having
time.
fantastic rotation. XCD has been there a lot. He's been involved in every single kill on Rising Stars this game.
Let's see if we can get involved in this tower deny as well. YYF really needs this tower goal. They cannot allow this tower to be denied. Deny attempt is not going to come through. They're going to focus on XCD. Chuan slows them down, but here comes Chen. He has a send back available. They do back off, and they're very lucky that Lifestealer do not TP. And speaking of Lifestealer, Xiao 2G has destroyed a tier 1 up top. Look at him. He's already level 8 with phase, max rage, and drums. Wow, drums is flying on the way.
That is so scary.
My God.
Xiao 2G. What do they do versus him? They have heals, surge, and like Templar can kind of tank him, but still, most of the other heroes he can just obliterate.
Yeah, that goes back to the item decision that you were talking about, Necrolite. I think he really needs to go Force Staff, particularly against open wounds. Maybe you go Ghost Scepter if you're really getting focused, if you're Necrolite. I think it's like you said, you got to go utility or defensive items, especially with this kind of deficit they're in right now.
Yeah, the longer the Necrolite stays alive in the fight, the better. Dagon, I've seen sometimes, but I don't think it's a good choice versus Slime. They have no field, most likely getting BKB on the Dragon Knight and possibly the Queen of Pain as well. And they have the Rage on the Lifestealer. Smoked mid, trying to get this tower.
Yeah, they are going to get this tower. Tier 1 tower being very sieged down here by Air with this Corrosive Breath. Also, I haven't been looking at too much. He's been doing an excellent job of popping his attack on the TA every time. Refraction does not help you with that corrosive damage. Look at this gang train coming out. Centaur with the Lifestealer inside. And I think they're going to go right on the Necrolite. Here's a big problem with Necrolite, and here's the reason we don't see him too much. His early game is very lackluster, like many other carry. His late game is pretty also lackluster because he's a very intelligence-based carry. Centaur's going to cut off a couple, so he's not going to do too much early game. If he gets a kill, for example, with Sadis, that's a big deal, though. That means he's going to have a ton more effective.
But they haven't been grouping together at all. How are they going to get kills when they're only like 2 strong every time? Oh, there is a TP.
Here comes a Centaur, and Centaur's going to find everybody. Lifestealer.
Path to Freedom.
Path to Freedom's going to come out. Faith is actually going to redirect the damage. Impale's going to hit on 2. Maybe a turn around. The ultimate is going to come through right now. Zoe out of mana right now. He does actually get the ultimate, but he does not get the kill. And look at this entire army gaining on Zoe. Is Drums even used just yet? It is used. He's going to phase right through, and Zoe's going to go down. No mana.
Where is their team? Why was Ferrari not there? He TP'd in, but he tried to TP late when our 2 heroes were already dead. They either need to decide, okay, we're going to fight and get TA up in front lines so they can tank, so they can keep him alive with Surge and with the Death Pulse, but I mean, he's just sitting, he's 0-1 and 0. I think he can contribute to these fights, but they just gave up 3 free kills and a tower.
Yeah, the only thing that Tia has to show for is leading in terms of CS entire game, which doesn't mean too much if you're not helping your team with that particular goal. I think he's going to be going for a Blink Dagger, but is Blink Dagger even good in this game when you're blinking into this massively tanky?
I think a Drums would probably be better for them.
Yeah, I think this is a face drum game, and maybe even go Yasha Master.
Chen's going to continue to put out pressure on the towers, and they need to get some fights out just because they've already lost T1s. They may lose Roshi and Sood, and if Rising Stars keeps farming like this, I think they're going to win just because they have the better late game. They're better at taking out ancient stacks, and they're just harder to gank in general.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if we check on item choices here on Invictus Gaming, it is going to be a Necrolite mech because Darkseer is having a really, really tough time. That means Zoe's mid to late game is going to suffer a little bit. I personally love Necrolite getting a mech, but at the same time, your late game is going to suffer because you're the one row that's getting the mech. Somebody is not going to... Well, who's going to carry now? I don't think TA could carry. I definitely don't think Darkseer could solo carry, so... And IG is losing the early game, which they should be actually good at. So I'm not really sure what IG do now.
Yeah, things are not looking good for IG. They have a rather aggressive lineup with the Nyx Assassin, with the Visage, with the TA, but we've only seen one kill off from them in 12 minutes.
And that kill was kind of under like random tower dive that they got picked off. So RisingStars now controlling the game. They're walking right into the Roshan pit. And my goodness, I really don't know what Invictus Gaming could do. If you look at Air, this is generally a good way to identify how the Dragon Knight team is doing. If the Dragon Knight is not going for a Bracer, treads into a BKB, instead he's going for Bracer, treads into Shadowblade, you know that the Dragon Knight team is on the offense or leading, because most Dragon Knight like to get BKB if they're behind. And that's not the case right now. He's going straight Shadowblade.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to get a BKB right now, just because IG haven't been grouping up. They have a lot of magic damage, but they're not on the defensive. They're playing aggressive, and they can pick off a lot of kills and keep IG under farm. Speaking of farm, gold difference, only about 5,000 for RisingStars, even though they took out 3 T1s and a Roshan. And meanwhile, EG is only taking out 1 T1 tower. So the difference is 2 towers and Roshan. So it's not as big as I thought. IG have been passively trying to farm most of their side of the map.
Yeah, the 3-core lineup is actually farming quite well here. 81 CS on Zoe, 68 CS on the Templar Assassin, and also 60 CS on the Darkseer, although some of that CS is neutral. But to me, the bigger thing is that these heroes don't use gold as well as Dire's hero, and Dire's hero is up by tower right now. So I feel like even though IG is not falling as behind as they should, I really don't favor the position in this early game.
Yeah, they're trying to catch up a little bit. Templar, I mean, they're making good use of their jungle, taking out most of the camps.
Look at this Ancient from Ferrari. Yeah, I didn't know you could splash on the creeps like that.
Yeah, pretty good Ancienting by him. Yeah. They're being efficient, but Templar Assassin going for Urgot Club. They still need a few more items. They almost have the mech up on Necrolite. They almost have BKB up on Templar Assassin. Not that close, and one big item on Darkseer. I think when those happen, they can take a fight, but it'll still be a while until that happens.
Apparently Zoe is having the CS of his life right now, despite 2 deaths. So Zoe, you can see that he is farming extremely well, does have the strength treads, as well as mech already finished. Forced to have a Gold Scepter for you in this game, judging from how we're doing so far.
From Zoe?
Yeah. From right now.
I say definitely Force Staff, just because if they go on someone else besides him, Ghost Staff's not going to stay your teammate. And a lot of these people are going to be very, very easy to kill, especially Darkseer not getting a mech this game, TA being a little bit under farm, Nyx most likely going to be in the front lines. He needs to be able to force staff people out if Darkseer tries to focus them or Lifestealer tries to focus them.
Yeah, there was a 4-man smoke gang at the mid lane, not going to get too much done. And speaking of that 4 staff, I'm going to quickly and constantly check on what Zoe's going to be getting. I'm very curious as well. Back in the mid lane, Hitron gets open wounded, and he is in front of his tier 2 getting 4-man smoke gang. There's really nothing he can do.
And Rubik stole familiars.
Oh my goodness. It just gets from bad to worse as air double damage runs out by right now. But they're sieging tier 2, and there's just no way that the Radiant's going to defend this tier 2. Instead, they're going to try to trade for a tier 1. Any way that IG could make a mid-game comeback, because I feel like you said, RisingStar has better late game. They're winning the mid-game right now, and it's just looking all really, really horrible.
I think so, but not if RisingStars 5-man, just because they have to split push. They can't take them head on. They're way too underfarmed at this point, and RisingStar just has a better 5-man lineup.
I think we might see a Rax right now here. Blinking coming in, but it's going to be lifted. Open wounds Ferrari in huge trouble. Ferrari is going to go down as well, and it's going to be Refraction taken by XCD. Buyback being forced out. I'm not really sure what to defend as well. The birds are coming in. It's nice 3 or 4-man impale. Vacuum comes down as well, but there's just no AoE damage. Just Zoe going to get focused. Zoe's going to be dead. He's supposed to be your tank. He does nothing. He also buys back. They're doing this defense is so costly right now. Surge forward on Faith is going to grab a big impale. That's it. They're going to be backing off XTD. He does have Refraction. They're going to turn right around. Faith down to about half HP. He's losing a ton of HP. Zoe not healing anybody up. He does have the mech, still not using it right now. Trap goes on. They're going to focus on air. Air down to about half. There is going to be a kill here from Zoe. Zoe getting a ton of mana back because of Sadist. And is that going to be it? Xiao Tuji is going to be on the run. They have sent back a buyback coming out from XTD as well. He turns around. He gets stunned. He eats a soul assumption to the face. And it's going to be retreat from IG. But IG Chuan's going to go down. Good mech up here from Zoe. And I think Chuan might be okay if there's going to be Surge backing him up. Nice trap coming out from Ferrari as well. Blink forward from XTD. That's going to be 1 extra kill. Are they going to actually get anything in return? Meanwhile, Zoe gets focused on the outside. That's your buyback on Necrolite. He dies a second time. I think we're going to see a Rax from RisingStars 16 minutes in.
Yeah, they've been playing extremely well, putting a lot of pressure on IG and not stopping. And 16 minutes, they might get this Rax.
Well, you can see that Tron right now trying his best to micro these birds and delay this particular creep wave. I don't even think that XTD and the rest of the team needs that creep wave, but seems like you're going to turn back and try to focus these birds down.
Cheeky familiar play.
I think that play just saved the racks.
Yeah, definitely did. But Zoe, I mean, he died, fought back, and died again. He's not going to have that force that they were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and again, this is this lineup depends particularly on their mid game, and they lost so hard in the early, and now they lost so hard in the mid game that I'm not sure whether it even matters this time anymore.
Yeah, this is supposed to be an aggressive line. They only have two kills. That is, I wouldn't want to say embarrassing, but this is not what exactly they had planned in mind with their lineup. I think if they want to play like this, passive, greedy, farm, they need heroes that are better at escaping ganks. For example, Lifestealer, who can just rage TP out, or Queen of Pain, who can just blink out instead of relying on Meld or Vendetta or just natural tankiness from Zoe.
Oh, they're going to be focusing on the mid lane here. Faith is going to explode. Is there going to be ultimate coming out from against Air? Air does actually go down here, and Zoe so very tanky. Again, thanks to the status mono regen. It's going to try to TP out. Gets netted. Great micro coming out from Super, and I do believe Zoe's going to go down. Oh my goodness, that was a Reaper size stolen. By the way, Rubik has a blink dagger, and I do believe this game is over now. We're going to see probably a 20-minute GGS. Right, there's a GG right now.
My goodness, that was a stomp. Straight up stomp.
I have not seen IG getting stomped this hard.
Yeah, they were definitely off their game then. I'm usually a little bit quite impressed by their gameplay, but this game I was just nothing was put together. They didn't have the right lineup for their play style. They lost every lane pretty much. Bottom lane, I guess you didn't really lose that badly, but the tower still went down maybe in like 10 minutes. Queen of Pain still got some sort of levels, but things just weren't going well for them. I rarely saw them 5-man. Even when they were defending their racks, it wasn't really a 5-man.
How much of it was the Necrolite pick? How much of it was the Queen of Pain jungle?
Queen of Pain.
Jungle Queen of Pain new meta?
Just throw people off.
I mean, I think this game just was a series of unfortunate events. If Darkseer didn't die twice before level 2 on the top lane, he escapes those gank up top fairly easily. The smoke gank mid lane, the 4-man smoke gank mid lane against Templar Assassin, that was good. I don't think
that one was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think IG was unlucky or anything like that, but yeah, RisingStars.
And the tower dive on bottom where they just killed 3 heroes and then got the tower, that was ridiculous.
Well, they had 2 centaurs, they had a drum.
No, but why was IG in that position? Like Chuan TP'd in, and then none of the rest of his team TP'd in. So they were just like straight out there to die. If they didn't want to fight or they knew they were only going to be 3 strong, then just get the other 2 people to get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
it was just strange, lack of coordination from IG. Somewhat weak lanes, I suppose, just because the rotations from the supports were non-existent, and Darkseer getting caught a few times against not the strongest triple lane. You usually just surge out of open wounds, not a big deal. But I mean, Queen of Pain roaming. What do you do versus that?
Yeah, and also in terms of Templar versus Dragon Knight matchup, we know Templar is gonna win the CS war. That's very obvious. But Dragon Knight did a very good job at keeping Templar in the lane. Like did she gank at all? I don't think she did. And because every time she leaves the lane, she loses damage on the tower. And Tier 1 tower eventually went down to Dragon Knight. So it was just a very, very tough game for Invictus Gaming. Again, we have never seen Invictus Gaming get stomped, Raffle stomp, Pup stomp. Is this a Pup stomp? Because there was a Jungle Queen of Pain.
We saw some ugly games before, I think in G1 or something, but that was one of the ugliest games I've seen by IG.
Well, there we have it. Game number 1 of the ECL 2003 Championship. Of course, it's the best of 3 series, so we'll be back for game number 2. That's it, right? It is so hot. I need to take off my shirt right now. Holy crap.